Let's use an example, a typical household in this village. How much do you say they earn income? As an example, estimate how much do they earn a day?
Income. Papa, I say that for what me, we had more than yes. 5 Ghana cedi a day. Yeah.
Of that, how much would he estimate as the money he spends on buying kerosene for lighting?
2 Ghana cedi to spend a crazy day from night to the day.
So 2 cedi is spent on kerosene, and then 3 cedi is spent on the food and hospitals,
other items.
other things.
You know one
These are put kerosene inside.
2 cedi, $2 per day, per month, $60, and that's a lot that they spend here.
It's the same story in most parts of the developing world, or the South, as it's called in development speak. Just like this village in Ghana, people living in poverty all over the world can spend as much as 40% of their daily income on lighting their homes with kerosene lamps. It's all part of the vicious circle of poverty that keeps millions of the world's poor incapable of improving their living conditions. But these 2 young entrepreneurs aim to change that, and they think they know how, because they themselves come from 2 of the poorest countries in the world. They're here because Ugandan entrepreneur Ramsey Magambo has signed a franchise agreement with Suya Nanthavong's company in Laos, and they're embarking on a unique alternative energy venture which aims to bring power to the people at a price that even the poorest can afford. This is Laos, or officially the Lao People's Democratic Republic, one of the last remaining communist states and one of the poorest countries in the world. Thanks to the Mekong River, Lao PDR is now known as the Battery of Southeast Asia for the hydropower that it sells to its neighbours, Vietnam, Cambodia and Thailand. But apart from urban centres, such as the capital Vientiane and other major towns, most areas remain off-grid, where the lack of electrical power is a major contribution to poverty. Here, 3/4 of the country's 5 million population live below the poverty level of $2 a day, and most of those live in the countryside, with no access to electricity, healthcare, or clean water. To counter this, the Lao government recently announced an ambitious plan to electrify 90% of the country by 2020, but it's facing an uphill battle. And so, remarkably for a communist country, Lao PDR is now encouraging profit-oriented private companies to help plug the gap by bringing electricity to remote villages that the government can't afford to reach. And Suiya's company, Sunlabob, is doing just that, with a range of alternative energy products that are helping to change village life throughout the country. Once night falls, in many regions, the darkness is absolute. But here, solar rechargeable lamps like these are helping to transform life in villages in remote regions far from the national grid. It means that villagers like Noi can work long into the hours of darkness on products that she will sell at the local market. Lee can now help her younger brothers with their homework when before they would sit in total darkness. And Mei Nam can get on with her tailoring orders while her husband puts the baby to bed. All thanks to a new form of social entrepreneurship that is bringing power to the people at a price that even the poorest can afford.